You're on.
Hi everyone, I am here with a Bible reading. Why does that look crooked? The whole thing looks like it's leaning crooked. Or is that just me? I hope you guys are having a good day. We're going to be reading Mark chapter 14, verse 53 through 72, Psalm 53, and Proverbs chapter 11, verse 4 today. Okay. So let's begin with Mark chapter 14, verses 53 through 72. Jesus before the Sanhedrin. Remember yesterday Jesus was arrested. Okay. Remember Jesus told Peter, and Peter denied it, that Jesus said, "You'll deny me 3 times before the rooster crows today." And Peter said he'll go down to death with Jesus before that happens. But remember, it does happen just as Jesus says. But Peter doesn't do it out of spite. He does it because he's scared. He's afraid of what will happen to him. And he knows what he done as soon as he says it for the 3rd time, because the rooster crows. And can you imagine the rooster crowing and then turning to look and Jesus there staring at you? He wept bitterly. They took Jesus to the high priest and all the chief priests, and I'm sure they were all gloating then, because they had been waiting to get their hands on him for, ever since before he was born. The elders and the teachers of the law came together. Peter followed him at a distance, right into the courtyard of the high priest. There he sat with the guards and warmed himself at the fire. The chief priests and the whole Sanhedrin were looking for evidence against Jesus so that they could put him to death. But they did not find any. Many testified falsely against him, but their statements did not agree. Then some, and ain't that something? Testifying falsely? And they're the teachers of the law, the Sadducees, the high priests, the Sanhedrin, Sadducees, the Pharisees, teachers of the law. They're not supposed to give false witness, but they did. They lied, downright lied against Jesus. Many testified falsely against him, but their statements did not agree. Did they get in trouble for it? No. Then some stood up and gave this false testimony against him. We heard him say, "I will destroy this temple made with human hands, and in 3 days will build another, not made with human hands." Yet even then their testimony did not agree. That is not what Jesus said, and that is not what he meant anyway. That is not what he was talking about. He's talking about his body, the temple, in 3 days. Because he rose from the dead in 3 days. They could destroy it, but he will rebuild it in 3 days. Then the high priest stood up before them and asked Jesus, "Are you going to answer? What is this testimony that these men are bringing against you?" But Jesus remained silent and gave no answer. Again the high priest asked him, "Are you the Messiah, the Son of the Blessed One?" "I am," said Jesus, "and you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One and coming on the clouds of heaven." You imagine how infuriated they was when he said this to them. And what they do to him makes me so mad. What they do to him infuriates me. And him standing there with them alone. Not really, God was there with him, but you know what I mean. The people there on the earth. He was basically there he was there alone. The high priest tore his clothes. "Why do we need any more witnesses?" he asked. "You have heard the blasphemy. What do you think?" They all condemned him as worthy of death. Then some began to spit at him, which is one of the most disgusting things you can do to somebody. They blindfolded him, struck him with their fists, and said, "Prophesy." And the guards took him and beat him. While Peter was below in the courtyard, one of the servant girls of the high priest came by. When she saw Peter warming himself, she looked closely at him. "You were with that Nazarene Jesus," she said. But he denied it. "I don't know or understand what you're talking about," he said, and went out into the entryway. There were other people there, men and stuff warming themselves at the fire too. When the servant girl saw him there, she again, to those standing around, "This fellow was one of them." Again he denied it. After a little while, those standing near said to Peter, "Surely you are one of them, for you are a Galilean." He began to call down curses, and he swore to them, "I don't know this man. He said, "I don't know this man you're talking about." Immediately the rooster crowed the second time. Then Peter remembered the word Jesus had spoken to him. "Before the rooster crows twice, you will disown me 3 times." And he broke down and wept. Jesus knew it was going to happen before it happened. That's why he told Peter it was going to happen. Do you think Jesus hated Peter because of that? Never stopped loving him. Not even a little bit. And Peter never stopped loving Jesus either. He was just scared. And Jesus knew that too. Look how they treated Jesus. You think they would have treated Peter any differently? No. They would have treated him just as bad. They would have put him to death too. And Peter knew that. That's why he was scared. Like I said, we can all say what we would have done in that situation or in any situation. We can, look down on somebody for acting a certain way. Well, if it was me, I never would have denied Jesus. I never would have done this or that. I would have stood up to the end. Well, Peter said that too, until it happened. You don't know how you're going to act until you are in that situation, faced with those scenarios. You don't know until you are there facing it yourself. So don't judge anyone else. Only God can judge. And do you think Jesus judged Peter because of that? No, he didn't. No, he didn't. For he knows his heart. So that is where we're going to stop with Mark. And now we are going to read Psalm 53 for the director of music according to Malath, a maskil of David. The fool says in his heart, "There is no God." They are corrupt, and their ways are vile. There is no one who does good. God looks down from heaven on all mankind to see if there are any who understand, any who seek God. Everyone has turned away. All have become corrupt. There is no one who does good, not even one. Do all these evildoers know nothing? They devour my people as though eating bread. They never call on God, but they are overwhelmed with dread. Where there was nothing to dread, God scattered the bones of those who attacked you. You put them to shame, for God despised them. Oh, that salvation for Israel would come out of Zion. When God restores his people, let Jacob rejoice and Israel be glad. And that was Psalm 53. Just a little psalm, a little bit mighty. And lastly, for our Bible reading today is Proverbs chapter 11, verse 4. Wealth is worthless in the day of wrath, But righteousness delivers from death. Righteousness is worth a lot more weight than wealth. Amen it is. What do you think's going to get you farther when Jesus comes back? Being righteous or being wealthy? You can't buy God with money. God knows the heart. He don't care how much money you have. He made everything. He made all of us. If he wanted all the money in the world, he could have it. He doesn't need it. Alright guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hope you guys have a good night ahead. Let's bring those souls to Jesus, and God willing, we'll see you guys again tomorrow with another Bible reading. Bye guys. God bless.